Welcome, focus learners, to this explainer. Today, we are jumping right into a really fascinating psychological lesson. It's actually hidden inside a simple story from a small village. We're going to be tracing the journey of a young boy named Jody. And his experience? Well, it completely reveals the life-changing quiet power of deep focus. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by the noise of other people's opinions, and honestly, who hasn't? This is exactly what you need to hear.
Okay, let's dive into this. It's a massive question, right? Can deep focus completely transform your life? We aren't just talking about, buckling down to get a chore done. We are talking about a fundamental shift in how you experience the entire world around you. To really understand this, we're going to explore how a ruined reputation, a mocking village, and a simple pot full of milk taught a truly profound lesson about shielding your mind.
Part 1, the setup and the fall.
So to really get this lesson, we first have to understand Jyoti's world. He lived with his mother in a small mud house in a peaceful village. And I gotta tell you, his daily routine was absolutely exhausting. First, he was up way before the sun even thought about rising. Then, he's walking straight to the fields to plow and water the crops, basically working until he was completely drenched in sweat. And only after all that backbreaking manual labor did he actually get to wash up and study late into the night under this tiny, dim little lamp. But despite this grueling schedule, the expectations for him were literally sky high. The whole village completely believed that Jyoti was basically guaranteed to top his 12th grade exams.
But then, exam time came. The results were posted, and it literally all came down to one single number. 1. After all that sweat, all those late nights, something entirely unexpected happened. Jyoti failed in exactly one subject. Just one. But in that moment, man, for a boy who had poured every single ounce of his energy into his books and carried the heavy expectations of his whole village, it felt like his entire world had just completely collapsed around him. Part 2, the weight of words.
See, the failing grade itself, that actually wasn't the hardest part for Jyoti to bear. The real tragedy, the thing that cut the deepest, came from the community around him. The pain of the bad grade was just instantly eclipsed by their cruelty. They'd whisper, "Look, the smart boy who failed. He can't even pass one subject. All his confidence is totally useless." And every single day, as Jyoti took his quiet walk from his home to the fields, these whispers and cruel, mocking laughs just shadowed him. Imagine the sheer anxiety of that. Mocking voices following your every step, quickly turning a simple, peaceful daily walk into this agonizing, silent suffering. The words were literally like thorns. And while Jyoti kept a brave, silent face on the outside, inside, his heart was just completely breaking.
Part 3, the mentor's strange task. So, one evening, after a remarkably exhausting day of just bearing this torment, a completely heartbroken Jyoti sought out his mentor, Teacher Vishnu. Jyoti just confessed it all. He told him he simply could not tolerate the mocking and the laughter for one more second. The wise old teacher, he just listened to this silent suffering, nodded slowly with those kind eyes, and then he gave him a really specific, kind of strange challenge for the next morning. First, Jyoti was to take a large pot. Second, he had to fill it completely to the brim with fresh milk. Third, he had to walk that exact same path to the fields, the run lined with all those mocking villagers. And the final absolute rule, not a single drop of milk must fall. Not one drop. Now, you gotta be asking yourself, why would the teacher ask him to do something so bizarre? Jyoti was incredibly confused, and rightfully so. I mean, he goes to his mentor for emotional support because he's being relentlessly bullied, and his teacher basically tells him to go carry a heavy pot of milk down the exact same hostile road. At first glance, it makes zero logical sense. But because of his deep, unwavering respect for Teacher Vishnu, Jyoti agreed to do it. Part 4, the walk of focus. The next morning finally arrives. The sun is gently peeking over the fields, the birds are singing, and the village is just starting to wake up. Jyoti steps outside, holding this massive pot filled right to the very top with fresh milk. His hands are visibly shaking. As the morning progresses, he takes slow, deliberate steps. And as he enters the main path mid-morning, the villagers are already there. They're standing on the sides of the dirt path, ready to mock him all over again. They're whispering, they're laughing, they're just staring at him with this intense, heavy judgment. But this time, Jyoti's eyes are locked purely on the pot. His hands are steady, his breath is slow and careful.
The world became a blur. All he felt was focus. Something entirely magical happened to Jyoti that day. He couldn't hear the villagers anymore. All he saw was the milk swaying in the pot. All he heard was the slow, steady rhythm of his own heartbeat. He entered this profound state of flow. The voices around him simply melted away. The angry faces disappeared. Even the loudest, most piercing, mocking laugh, it just sounded like a distant, faraway echo. Literally, the only thing real to him in that entire moment was the pot in his hands.
Part 5. The True Power of Focus. Jyoti successfully reached the fields, and guess what? Not a single drop of milk had fallen. He immediately rushed all the way back to teacher Vishnu and excitedly blurted out that he was so laser-focused on the pot, he didn't hear a single insult along the entire walk. The teacher smiled this gentle smile and replied, "When your mind becomes deeply focused on your work, your goals, and the purpose you carry within, the opinions and words of others slowly begin to lose their power over you. So the crucial point is, their noise becomes entirely meaningless. It's almost like magic, really. True focus literally silences the external noise of the world." Now, what this brilliantly illustrates is the absolute transformation that Jyoti underwent. Think about it. Before the challenge, he was constantly listening to the noise of the villagers. He was listening to them way more than his own heart and feeling completely broken by it. But after the challenge, he was listening only to his own heart, and he realized that a mind strictly focused on its target feels practically untouchable. The village itself, it didn't change at all. They were still right there, totally ready to mock him. But Jyoti changed. His fear completely vanished, his confidence came roaring back, and that made all the difference in the world. He started preparing for his exams again, and he worked in the fields with this much deeper, untouchable peace. And this leads us to the real definition of true focus. It is deliberately blurring the background negativity to keep your subject, your goals, perfectly clear. Think of it exactly like a high-end camera lens. When a camera focuses tightly on a subject right in the foreground, what happens? That messy, noisy, chaotic background naturally blurs out into a soft nothingness. Standing there quietly in the soft, golden light of that sunrise, a really gentle smile appeared on Jyoti's face because he finally grasped this. Focus isn't just about working hard, it is a literal psychological shield. So let's talk about how this applies to you. Whenever you feel overwhelmed by doubt, sadness, extreme pressure, or you feel genuinely hurt by the cruel words of the people around you, I want you to remember Jyoti. I want you to find your own milk pot, your specific goal, your dream. Take a deep breath, hold that goal with steady hands, stay fiercely focused on it, stay strong, and deliberately let everything else just fade into the background. I really want to leave you with this final thought to carry with you today. What background noise will you blur out today to keep your true goal in focus? Look, we all have villagers laughing on the sides of our paths. We really do. But remember, the exact moment your mind locks onto your true purpose, they lose absolutely all their power. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, Focus Learners. Keep those hands steady, keep your eyes on the pot, and I'll see you next time.